Pompeii did not die in a single day. By the time the mountain erupted, the city had already been quietly transformed by empire, ambition, and power. And that is the part of the story most people never hear. Imagine a city resting beneath a mountain that had been silent for centuries. A city filled with voices, trade, ritual, and routine. A place where merchants opened their shops at dawn, where bathhouses echoed with conversation, where wine and oil moved through busy streets, and where families believed, as families always do, that tomorrow would arrive in its familiar shape. Pompeii is often remembered only for its final hours. Ash, fire, silence. But that memory is too small for a city that lived such a long and layered life. Cities are rarely destroyed by one moment alone. Long before the sky darkens, other forces are already at work. Power enters quietly. Ambition changes the shape of belonging. Trade brings wealth, but also dependence. And somewhere beneath the surface of ordinary life, history begins to rearrange everything. Welcome, friends, to English Mindwave. Before this story goes any further, please subscribe to the channel and stay close to the fire. That simple act helps this channel keep creating more thoughtful journeys, like this one. To understand Pompeii, the story must begin before the eruption, before the terror, before the mountain spoke. It must begin with the land itself. Fertile Campania was a place other powers could not ignore. Rich soil promised abundance. Access to the sea promised commerce. River routes promised movement. And wherever abundance gathers, attention follows. That is one of history's oldest patterns. Prosperity rarely grows in peace for long. It attracts influence. It invites competition. It calls power to the door. The Greeks recognized opportunity in this place. The Etruscans brought structure and ambition. The Samnites tied the city to an older Italic identity. Then Rome arrived, and with Rome came a slower, deeper transformation. Not just conquest in the military sense, but absorption, the kind of change that works its way into public life, property, language, and memory. A city can still look like itself while gradually becoming something else. This is what makes Pompeii so haunting, even before the disaster. It was not only a city living beneath a mountain. It was a city learning how to live inside the long shadow of empire. Rome did not merely admire productive cities. It redirected them. Land changed hands. Veterans settled. Latin expanded through public life. Old local identities were not erased in a single violent gesture, but softened, pressed, and slowly rearranged. The city remained alive, but its rhythm was no longer entirely its own. Power is often most effective when it does not arrive only with force. It arrives with roads, markets, legal order, public buildings, and promises of stability. It offers prosperity, but asks for allegiance in return. It creates opportunity, but never equally. And over time, those differences begin to shape how a city breathes, who rises, who serves, who is seen, who is forgotten. Once that process begins, the real story is no longer found only in politics. It is found in ordinary life. Under Roman peace, Pompeii flourished. Water moved through aqueducts, streets were improved, workshops thrived, goods traveled outward to the wider Mediterranean world. Wine, olive oil, cloth, perfume, and fish sauce carried the city's labor far beyond its walls. To many, this would have looked like success. And in some ways, it was. But every bright age hides a more difficult question beneath its polished surface. Prosperity, for whom? Behind painted walls and elegant courtyards stood the labor that made comfort possible. Enslaved people worked in homes, vineyards, workshops, kitchens, laundries, and ports. Their labor supported a beauty they could never fully share. Freedmen, too, moved through a more complicated world. Wealth could be earned. Influence could be built. A name could rise. Yet the memory of bondage never disappeared completely. Social life in Pompeii was full of motion, but also full of tension. Old status guarded itself. New status tried to climb. Public honor became something visible, competitive, and deeply desired. This is the Pompeii that matters most. Not a dead city, but a living one. A city of striving, comparison, ambition, and fragile hopes. A city where people measured themselves against one another while trying to secure a future that already rested on unstable ground. Then came the earthquake of 62 AD. It did more than damage buildings. It shattered assumptions. Walls cracked. Temples broke. Water systems failed. Homes collapsed. Fear entered daily life in a new way. And once again, inequality revealed its true shape. Some could leave and begin elsewhere. Others had no such escape. They remained among broken streets, unfinished repairs, and uncertain nights. That is one of the harshest truths history repeats. Disaster does not create unequal lives. It exposes them. Pompeii rebuilt itself, but rebuilding did not restore innocence. Property changed hands. Social roles shifted. Commercial energy returned. The city moved forward, yet not in the same form. 17 years later, Pompeii still lived, still traded, still hoped, but it had become more restless, more ambitious, and perhaps more fragile than it understood. And that is where the story becomes unsettling in a deeper way. What makes Pompeii feel so modern is not only the suddenness of its end, but the illusion that came before it. The city was active again. Businesses reopened. Daily rhythm returned. Public life resumed. On the surface, confidence had been restored. But appearances can be history's most persuasive lie. A society may look prosperous while standing on foundations that are politically dependent, morally strained, and physically unstable all at once. That pattern is not ancient alone. It belongs to every age. People trust what has been quiet for too long. They call it stable. They build around it. They organize their plans around it. They begin to mistake routine for safety. And sometimes, the very thing they no longer fear becomes the force that changes everything. Pompeii, therefore, reveals more than a natural catastrophe. It reveals a human habit. Civilizations do not fail only because danger exists. They fail because they grow comfortable beside what they do not fully understand, and because success can make vulnerability harder to see. Then, in the year 79 AD, the mountain awoke. The city that had endured conquest, political reshaping, social tension, prosperity, and earthquake now faced something beyond negotiation. Ash fell. Darkness spread. Streets filled. Roofs gave way. Some fled. Some remained. Some survived by leaving early. Others were trapped by fear, loyalty, confusion, or circumstance. And in the end, a living city passed into silence. Yet even here, the story does not become simple. Pompeii was not only a place of destruction, it was a place of interrupted life. That is why the buried streets still move the imagination so powerfully, not because they show death alone, but because they preserve the shape of an ordinary world suddenly cut off. Homes, tools, walls, shops, courtyards, graffiti, and roads remained behind like a final breath held in stone. What survived was not just tragedy. It was texture, evidence of routine, evidence of desire, evidence that people had lived there fully before the end arrived. And perhaps that is why Pompeii continues to speak across centuries. It reminds the living that history is never only about emperors, wars, or disasters. It is also about households, about labor, about small plans made under uncertain skies, about people trying to create meaning inside systems they did not choose and changes they could not control. The deepest lesson left behind in Pompeii is not simply that life is fragile, though it is. It is that fragility does not erase meaning. It sharpens it. No empire, no prosperity, no appearance of order can fully protect a human life from change. And yet, people continue to love, rebuild, trade is to hope, and reach for dignity. There is something heartbreaking in that, but also something profoundly beautiful. Human beings do not wait for certainty before they begin living. They build meaning in the middle of uncertainty. They always have. That may be the quiet wisdom this buried city still offers the modern world. Look beneath the surface of success. Do not confuse movement with stability. Do not mistake routine for permanence. Protect what is human before protecting what is impressive, and value ordinary days more deeply, because they are never as guaranteed as they seem. Pompeii asks not to be remembered only for its destruction, but for its life, for its crowded mornings and anxious ambitions, for its labor and its beauty, for its rebuilding and its blindness, for the ordinary courage hidden inside routine, and for the truth that beneath every empire, every market, and every historical turning point, there are always human hearts trying to endure. What do you think is the most important lesson Pompeii leaves for modern life? Please share your thoughts in the comments so everyone can read and reflect together. And if you enjoy stories like this, please subscribe to English Mindwave to support the channel and help keep these fires burning.